Welcome to the first episode of Only Friends with Jen, the podcast where the content creators that you see online have an opportunity to step out of the screen into real, honest human conversation. I've been thinking about this for a while. I have met so many amazing people in the 3.5 years that I have been on social media. The behind the scenes of what goes on when the cameras are turned off is actually my favorite part of what I have now been able to call my full-time job. The people that I am meeting behind the scenes, the conversations that we have come to make me realize that everything that you see on social media, and we know this, it's just snapshots, it's just clips, it's just bits and pieces of who we are that we are okay putting out online. And Only Friends with Jen is for the people that I've met, the friends that I've made along the way, to come here, to sit down with me, for me to ask them questions about themselves, to give them a place to talk about something that they want to talk about, tell a little bit about their journey. What was it like when they were growing up? How did they get here? What do they want to do with what they have that's going for them right now? And for my first episode, I thought long and hard about who I was going to bring on, and I realized that if I'm going to create a podcast where I sit across from some of the best friends I've ever made, they know things about me that you guys don't know about me, quite a bit of things, because I don't share very much of myself online. I tell people that I've shared about 10% of myself online, and that's true. So today I'm going to come on here and I am going to tell you some of the things about myself that I'll be asking my guests to answer about themselves. And it's only fair for me to be my most authentic self. And in order to help them and inspire you guys, anybody else that's in social media that feels like you can only give parts of yourself because of what the world is okay with, what they're going to accept. But who I am behind the scenes when the cameras are turned off is a real human, is a person that has lived a vast story. I feel like I've lived 100 lifetimes. And I want to share some of those stories with you guys. I want to tell you a bit more about the 40 years that I had before I was on social media. And so for my first episode, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself. So buckle up. There's going to be some information that might be surprising to you, and that's okay. And I have decided that it doesn't matter how it is received online. It is my truth. It is my story. It is who I am. And that is all I can ask of myself. And that is what I hope inspires you to also do the same for yourself. Don't be afraid to be who you are. I grew up in Kentucky. I grew up in the Lexington area in the 80s. I come from a conservative Christian home. It was a very loving home. I have 2 older brothers and a younger brother, and we grew up playing outside, come home when the lights come on at night. When I went off to college, I decided the first degree I wanted to pursue was sign language interpreting. And I spent 2 years pursuing sign language interpreting and became fluent in sign language. And then I decided in 2002 to follow my husband. I got married in 2002 and we moved to New Orleans. He felt called to go into the ministry. And as a good Christian wife should, I followed him and went down there and also got a degree in Christian ministry. So we lived in New Orleans for about 2.5 years. And in 2005, I gave birth to my oldest in New Orleans. If you know anything about New Orleans in 2005, that was the year that Katrina hit. I had the baby in the spring, and then we moved back to Kentucky that summer, and then Katrina hit in August. We know a lot of people affected by Katrina, and New Orleans will always have a place in my heart. From 2005 on, I spent the next quite a bit of time just being a stay-at-home mom and having babies. I had another baby in 2006, I had another baby in 2008. We adopted a beautiful daughter in 2009. I had another baby in 2011, and then we waited a little while and finished up having 6 kids by adopting a son from China in 2014. So in 2014, I was mom of 6 kids, and I spent the next few years just homeschooling my kids, raising them, spending time as a stay-at-home mom. We moved in 2017 to a smaller town in Kentucky, and just did the normal mom church life. And in 2019, I had weight loss surgery, had all that baby weight. I nursed and had babies for years, and then I decided that I was ready to start taking my health back and be more serious about my health, because I wanted to be able to be the mom that was going down the slides and running around with my kids. And so I took my health back in 2019, had the skin removed in 2020. And over those years, I was starting to really question my beliefs for the first time in my life. I had been raised with the same set of beliefs for my whole life. And I was just really starting to wonder what I believed and why I believed it, and digging in. I had my seminary degree. I have a degree in Christian ministry. And I know the Bible. I know the Bible inside and out. But I really wanted to start wondering what it was that I truly believed. So in 2022, we decided to step back from leadership. I was very active in the church. We were leaders. I would help with leading worship music and Bible studies. During COVID, I was doing Bible studies on Zoom for women. I've always had a heart for helping women. And in 2022, stepped back and said that we and I were asking questions about what the Bible taught. And I didn't want to be teaching if I wasn't 100% sure that that's what I believed. I was already questioning all of this before weight loss surgery, before losing the weight. And then I just decided I wanted to start being more myself. And I, in my weight loss surgery process, had started an Instagram page. It was a private Instagram page, and it was just for women who wanted to follow my weight loss story. That's where the name Thin Jen came from. Is I actually tried to type in Skinny Jenny on Instagram to see if that was taken, because I go by Jenny. And that was not available. So I just typed in Thin Jen. I had no idea when I did that in 2019 that that would be sort of what I was known as. But here we are. And that page was a private page. And then TikTok I saw these content creators that had these weight loss videos where they were adding music to their before and afters. And I was like, oh, I want to sign up for TikTok. And I signed up for TikTok, and I was really just using it for editing. At one point, I put a video up there in the summer of 2022 for my 40th birthday. On my 40th birthday, I went to Miami, and I had fun with one of my best friends, and we went down there. I got dressed up on my 40th birthday. I wanted to feel sexy. I wanted to no longer feel ashamed of my body. And I dressed up and took 3 pictures. I took 3 pictures in a red dress. If you've been around long enough, you know the dress. And I posted it on TikTok just with a little audio, didn't think anything of it. And then 2 weeks later, out of nowhere, I went from having probably not even 500 followers on TikTok to 50,000 overnight. The questions started to roll in. Why do your legs look like that? What's that scar on your stomach? There was like a cutout on the dress that showed a little bit of my scar. You could see the booty, the ass, in the mirror of the video or in the pictures, and everybody was talking about that. And they were also talking about the fact that I didn't look like I was 40. So it was just this culmination of one video blowing up. And then from that point on, I decided that I was going to start answering those questions. And that is how my social media took off. And that has been 3.5 years. And if you've been following me, or if you haven't been following me for very long, I've just taken that and I've run with it. I had a point where I was asking myself about, when I started an Instagram, people were DMing me, asking me, do you sell content? Do you sell content? I was so naive. I had absolutely no idea what they were asking. And then I realized what they were asking. And I was like, you know what? I'm trying to shed some of this purity culture out of my background. And I am okay with my body. I'm actually more than okay with my body. I'm very proud of my body. I'm very proud of where I've come. And I am comfortable selling certain parts of content. My content is non-nude, non-sexual content. I just have fun over there in thongs and G-strings, clapping, twerking. And I realized that that was something I was comfortable with, that I was okay with that. And I felt good about that. And it made me happy. And it was very enjoyable. And it was also very successful. When I first started the page, I actually remember telling myself, I'm going to set my prices so high that nobody will buy it. And then I could say, well, that didn't work out. 2 years later and $1 million later, I set those prices high. I kept my boundaries super tight. I've not changed either of them since. And I still feel very confident in what I've put out. And I am very much at a place in life where I do not regret anything that I have done. And I feel as though it has been able to heal parts of me. I feel like I've been able to reclaim my body, my energy, my joy, my peace, and knowing who I am and what it is that I feel comfortable doing. And here we are now in 2026. I have platforms on all social media accounts, and I am doing my first podcast episode because even though I have no regrets, this isn't something that I want to do forever. This is not what I want to do forever. I'll let it ride as long as it wants to ride, as long as I can have collabs and meet more people. I will still put that content out there. I still have fun. I still love what I do, but I have other goals. I have other things that I would like to do. And in the process of collabing, meeting people online, connecting, networking, I've realized that so many of these other women have their own stories. And I want to give them a space to talk because I'm inspired by the men and the women that I have met and what they are doing behind the scenes and who they are. So many of them are artists and have degrees that I didn't even know about. And they just left the industry because social media became more lucrative. And that's the same for me. And here I am now trying to ask my friends and myself, okay, here we are. Now we have these platforms. Is this what you want to do forever? Do you have other goals in life, especially for my OnlyFans friends? And for myself, I have a passion. I have a passion to sing. I have a passion to help other people become their most authentic selves. I have a passion for women being empowered to do whatever it is that they want to do with their time, energy, money, and bodies. And in 2026, I am committing now by coming here on my first episode of Only Friends with Jen to tell you guys about myself. And I hope that other people are inspired to also be their full selves. Take the whole story, look at the big picture. And I have so many more things that I want to do. I am here in my podcast room in a content house that I have been able to buy. I have been saving up for years behind the scenes, the money that I have been able to bring in, the revenue, the reinvesting, the traveling. These are all key things that are building to something that I see bigger in the future for myself. In 2026, I want to open a recording studio in this house, and that is my next big project. And I want to be sharing more of my voice. And it's not just my voice, it's my passion. I want to work on songwriting. I have some things coming in the works that I can't wait to tell you guys about in the songwriting industry. And these are things that I've wanted to do my whole life, things that I dreamt about doing when I was a little girl, being myself, going out there, putting myself out there. I've never been afraid of having an audience and telling about myself in order to help people empower people and help them to have their voice as well. And so here I am coming and dreaming for the first time in a long time about what it is that I want to do. I want to travel. I want to sing. And if there's an opportunity to be paid to travel to sing, that is something that would bring me great joy, and in the process share a message with the world that everyone has a story. Everyone has a beginning, they're in the middle of a process, and there's an end. And it is what you do in the meantime, what you do with that story. You get to pick. You get to pick. You're the story writer. You're the one that gets to share something about yourself that is going to help the world. It could bring light to the world. It can bring healing to the world. I know there are a lot of people who come from the church, a lot of people who are still in the church. There are opinions on both sides of this. There are people who have strong opinions about women's bodies and how they're allowed to use them, how we monetize them, how we put ourselves online. My story is just my story, but I feel that it is the best thing that I can do to offer to the world is that I speak that truth, I share it so that you guys can too. And actually, that's one of my favorite things. I love meeting people and hearing their genuine stories. If I could sit down with every single one of you and talk to you directly, you would know that it is a joy in my life to meet other people, to hear their stories, to hear their journeys, because we push each other forward. We bring a little bit more of ourselves by being around other people who are more of themselves. We get to expand and grow and learn and love and laugh and cry. And life is beautiful. And I have discovered that through many, many people that I will be introducing you to. I have episodes coming already. They're in the works. And I can't wait to share them with you. These are women that you see them online. They might be dancing. You might know them from OnlyFans. It's not just going to be OnlyFans creators. There's going to be content creators, men, women, people in the industry. I've met people in the music industry, actors. Anybody will be welcome on Only Friends with Jen if they're willing to come on here and use this platform to share a part of their story. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait for every single person that's going to sit in that chair, every single person that's going to open up their heart to me in this space because they trust me. And that is an honor. And I can only be that for someone as much as I can be that for myself. So, didn't expect to cry. That is what Only Friends with Jen is about. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk about your childhood. I might tell more stories about my childhood. I might tell more stories about being a mom. I might tell more stories about my bachelor's in Christian ministry. I might tell more stories about my traveling. I've been all over the world, and in that, I hope to hear so many more stories that just inspire me to do more, go more places, meet more people, do more things. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, and we can make it what we want to make it. And I hope that you guys on the other side of this screen see the humanity that I am bringing to you today. And I love each and every one of you. I hope and I believe that my love for people exudes through the screen, and I think that's why a lot of people follow me. But even more so in being able to share my voice on the podcast and my voice in singing, that you guys will get to know me more, and that will help you see that there's a lot of love out here. There's a lot of love coming from me to you, and I feel it from you guys back. And I just want to expand that into the world, bring something that is pure and light, and that is why I'm here. And that is what I am doing. And I am grateful for the fact that I am now at a place with my children where they're older and we've had multiple conversations over 3.5 years. And that I hope that by being myself, they are then also able to be themselves. I hope that genuineness and authenticity is the theme of Only Friends with Jen. And if Only Friends with Jen is a place where people come to be inspired to be themselves, then I have accomplished what it is that I have set out to accomplish. So this is Only Friends with Jen. If you are interested or inspired or want to know about more resources that I have, I have ebooks and courses that are going to be linked and coming up, encouraging you guys to also find out who you are, what it is that you want to do in this world, and share it unapologetically. So, I love you, and I'll see you soon.